The following is a Claibs online production. This is Off the Wall, driven by Munganast, St. Louis Acura. Here's your host, Joe Roderick.
And welcome on into another episode of Off the Wall, driven by Munganast, St. Louis Acura, here exclusively on ClaibsOnline.com. I'm your host, Joe Roderick, and joining us this week, he is the longtime voice of the St. Louis Billikens basketball team. He is Bob Ramsey, and he joins us now. Bob, what's going on, man? Thank you for letting us into your home.
Hello, Joe. I guess we might as well take advantage of it since we're all stuck in the house, right?
That was how this whole thing kind of started. Everybody is stuck in their homes. We're doing Skype, we're doing Zooms, and you look at the background of people's setups, and you want to hear the stories behind some of the things that you see, and thus Off the Wall kind of started from that. Now, you have been doing men's basketball at St. Louis University for over 30 years. So I'm going to guess that we're going to see a lot of Billikens memorabilia at your on your walls, but I'm hoping to be surprised by a few things that we see too.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. Some weird things I collect, but a lot of them are in boxes and put away. I have a few things up, a handful of photographs, and a couple of other things. So it's not like every time there's a game, you know, I snip a lock of hair off one of the players and put it in a frame or something. And I got stuff in different rooms all over, movie posters like that, stuff that have probably almost certainly far more meaning to me than it would to anybody else. But yeah, I have a few things.
All right, so I see right over your shoulder there. I see the picture there. Who is of holding the number 20 St. Louis Billikens jersey? Is that what that looks like? What do we have here to start things off?
Well, on this wall, this is my dig me room. I'm the only one in here. No one else ever wants to come in. It's the dig me room. This is when I did 20 seasons at St. Louis U, and that's former director of athletics Cheryl and ceremony at a game, and it was really, really nice. That meant a lot to me. Then if we go over to my left, your right, this is one of my favorites. This is back from the 80s when I worked at Channel 11 and was covering Cardinal baseball for KPLR, and talking to Whitey every day. You could see we were both really thrilled with the exchange, but he was nice enough to sign it. And anybody who knew that he didn't have a lot of patience for TV guys, but we had a really good relationship, and I really enjoyed the look on both of our faces for that picture. Then as we move down the wall, this is one that means a lot to me, but not to anybody else. One year doing the Coca-Cola shootout, one of the basketball events, and that's my wife doing the game with me.
Oh, nice.
And so that, yeah. So she played basketball at St. Louis U, and it was a natural, and it was a lot of fun. Then we'll go over to a bookcase over here. Couple of things. Let's start down on this shelf right here. I got some NIT and NCAA watches, watch from the Cardinals, and these are two of my favorites. Try and bring it onto the light a little better. Here's my St. Louis Ambush Championship ring. And then there's a Cardinals 04 pennant ring. Both these rings mean a whole lot to me. Again, probably nobody else cares too much, but big keepsakes to me.
Now, in the 30-some years that you've done SLU basketball, they've made the tournament a handful of times during those years. Do they have anything of significance then when they make the tournament or make a deep run into the tournament that they give out at the school?
Well, to me, they give a Laurel and Hardy handshake, and that's about it. No, it's, sometimes every now and then we'll get an NIT watch, something from the NCAA, but it's not a regular deal.
Okay.
But that's okay. You know what I don't have down here? I should have remembered to get. It's a piece of the net when the Billikens won 4-4 in Memphis, and Lorenzo Romar insisted that Earl Austin Jr. and I come over and cut a piece of the net. So that's one of my favorites. I should have brought that down. Couple of Hall of Fame things, Lindenwood, St. Louis U. He'll be embarrassed. Here's my oldest son. I have that ball. Up here is Sons of Majerus picture. You see way up there, that shiny bald head, that's me. So that's one of my favorite. That's one of my favorites as well, because that's the gang right there. It was really meaningful. Of course, one of the people that really special to me in my life, and obviously with basketball, is Charlie Spoonhour, and that was the one we took. That was at West Pine Gym in a preseason preseason game that we had on the radio, and he came over and did the game with us. Now this is special for your show, Joe. Claib's Online. If you look up here, this is the '80s broadcast crew for St. Louis U basketball, and there is our own Mike Claiborne right there. Claiborne, me, and my good pal Steve Wood, who's our producer, engineer, and stat man. That's where I got my start with SLU basketball. That photo right there.
And look at the size of those headsets, those headphones you guys were wearing back in the day too. My goodness.
Well, right just before that, we were using conch shells, so it was an improvement.
We'll have to bring that up to Claib's tomorrow. Yeah.
Now, here's something that is meaningful only to me, Joe, but I just kind of like it, and I've kept them. You see on here, I was always frustrated. I'm a bit sloppy when I write, and I was always frustrated with the little tiny boxes and scorebooks. And so I designed my own scorebook and had it printed up for me. And this one in particular, I like. This is from '98, doing Cardinal games. And this was, you see right here, I'm sorry, up here. Here's McGuire against the Marlins. And then here, this was the series that he hit 4 home runs in 2 days. There's a pair of home runs there. And 2 more here the next day, and that's when his race in '68 absolutely elevated and escalated, and he really got after it at that point. Some plaques down here, no big deal, just some awards and stuff that are kind of fun. And then up here, here's your SLU stuff. Here are a couple of championship signed basketballs and a cap and that sort of thing. And then one more wall to show you. Here is a next incarnation of Billiken broadcast. There's Errol Austin, and this is Rob Fisher, who is now one of the mainstays with Grizzlies basketball. He was a sideline reporter for the Memphis Grizzlies for many years. People may remember him from KFNS, a great young sportscaster at the time, and he was a part of our crew. And then this is one of my favorite up here, just me and Earl doing a game. And so those all have a lot of meaning to me.
I was going to say Rob Fisher kind of is the inspiration that sparked this segment, as I did an interview with him, and I spent most of the interview just kind of looking at the background and some of the pictures that he had over the years. So it's good to have a nice recall there to Fish on that picture.
I have 2 more things to show you. This one's just kind of fun and funny. 1987, and if we'll focus in right here, see it says Miss Daly. You know how players, big league players, will get their names on their bat?
Yeah.
And former Cardinal clubhouse man for decades and decades, Buddy Bates, the club pretty much admitted and were unforgivable in telling Ken Daly he could not hit. Yet he still had his own bats delivered, and so they put Miss Daly on his bat. And so this one was broken in batting practice in the '87 World Series, and he threw it down. I picked it up and asked if I could have it, and he said, "Yeah, I'm not doing anything with it anyway, whether it was broken or not." The final thing I want to show you is probably my all-time favorite thing, Joe. You see here, it's a basketball jersey. It's Karl Malone, personally inscribed to me, number 32. But what I really love about it, it's not the Jazz, it's Louisiana Tech.
Yeah.
And that's where I did the games at Tech, and Karl and I had a relationship, of course, doing the games. And so I got one of the old jerseys, and he signed it for me. And it was a big deal for me anyway.
That's really cool. There probably aren't many people walking around with Louisiana Tech Karl Malone jerseys in their house, and you have one of them autographed by the mailman himself. Rammer, I appreciate the time that you gave us, letting us into your home and showing us some of the great memorabilia that you have from all the years that you've been entertaining us here in St. Louis.
You know, if you're lucky to stick around as long as I have, you get so much stuff that a lot of it's in boxes. You might inspire me to break out some more of it and put it on display. This is kind of fun.
Well, Rammer, I appreciate the time. Thank you so much.
You bet, Joe. Anytime.